Hi everybody. In this video I wanted to go over a little bit about these translation retargeting options in Metahuman skeletons. In a couple of my previous tutorials I've shown how you can easily apply mocap retargeting to metahumans without worrying about overall distortion to the structure by going to the pelvis, right-clicking, and recursively setting the translation retargeting to skeleton, and then restoring just the pelvis to either animation relative or animation scaled. This approach makes it really easy to apply motion capture from a variety of different sources onto metahumans without getting distorted bodies. However, it does slightly alter the functionality of metahumans, and so I wanted to go over that a little bit here so that you can make appropriate decisions in your own pipeline as to whether or not you want to keep the default settings for your metahuman skeleton, or if you want to go ahead and change them to accept multiple sources of animations. Now, first thing I did want to share is that there is a great video on rigging the metahumans from Riham Toulan. She presented this as part of the GDC conference, and she goes through in wonderful detail about all of the work that went into the rigging of metahumans and how that rigging works both in Maya and Unreal Engine, and how to move animations back and forth between the two applications. And there's a lot to be learned about how metahumans actually work in this video. It's a really great presentation. One of the things that she mentions in here is the blend poses that are created in order to compensate for body distortions when different poses are bent. So these are RBF, radial base functions, which are basically altering the volume of the musculature and the appendages that are bending. And in the Unreal Engine, this is handled by a post-process animation blueprint. So I'll have a link to her full video in the description here, as well as I have a playlist of a collection of Unreal Engine sourced videos that are specifically about the operation of metahumans. So these are not simply marketing videos. These are videos by the Unreal Engine team that really go into the operation and use of metahumans. And Rihan's video is right at the top of this playlist right now, and I definitely recommend it. And so I'll have a link to this playlist in the description as well. So what does this all mean? Well, if I go back to Unreal Engine here, I'm just going to show one little sample. I'm going to go down here to the thigh left in this case, and instead of applying the skeleton retargeting mode to the entire skeleton, I'm just going to work on thigh left. You see I have my metahuman here posed in kind of a jumping up and pulling his feet up type of thing. And if I just take the left thigh, so this is the left leg, and I apply that skeleton mode, you'll see when the deformations basically get disabled by applying the skeleton mode. So if I right click on thigh and I say recursively set to retargeting skeleton, the shape of this leg changes. Control Z to undo, and you can see we get that volume back. So this is the subtle difference between keeping animation relative and animation skeleton. The reason this is happening is that this post-process blueprint, I can click edit to open it up, all of these pose drivers are based on animation pose sources, and those poses have offsets, the joints move. And so as a result, by setting our skeleton mode to relative, we get those translations applied and the vertices of the model move in response to those. When we change our translation retargeting to skeleton, only the rotations are honored and we don't get any of those translational displacements. So I just wanted to be clear on exactly what this does. I think that there's still plenty of applications for using the full skeleton to be in skeleton retargeting mode. It's certainly great for previs, where you may have a lot of different mocap animations to apply from a lot of different sources. By having this in full skeleton mode, you won't get the corrective poses, but you will get animations applied to your metahuman without large body distortions and offsets and such. Certainly for background characters, this also makes a lot of sense. But if you are doing cinematics with hero characters, you probably want to keep the animation relative set and instead use the source of your individual animations to ensure that joint systems are not being distorted. So as an example of that, if I go to animations for this character, I have this demo animation here, and this is really just that same pose that I was using as a demo. If you have the retarget source, normally this is set to default, and you can see how when I switch between these two joint systems that this does genuinely move. So the character here is a male, tall, normal weight body, and if I have this set to default, then you see how that body gets a little bit larger. The reason for this is that this animation was captured from the male, tall, normal weight body. By default, it's being placed on the base, which is pushing the base out, and then it's being applied to the male, tall, normal weight body. So it's basically offsetting from the base twice by this male, tall, normal weight body. If we note here in the retarget source that this animation is coming from that body, then we diffuse one of the two expansions, and so you'll notice that this character will get smaller when I say male, tall, normal weight body here, and this is actually the appropriate size for this character with this animation. All right, so I hope this helps. Until next time, have fun.